So high are tensions in Zimbabwe these days that it didn't take long for a sighting of a few tanks on the road to Harare to set off rumors of a coup underway. For many who live in a country staggering under the weight of poverty born of government corruption and mismanagement, the rumors are welcome.
What is needed right now in Zimbabwe is to remove this Mugabe family in power.
If there is this implosion, the implosion is good for the citizenry of Zimbabwe.
The current tensions are part of an ongoing power struggle within the ruling ZANU-PF party, Robert Mugabe at its head and that of the country for nearly 4 decades. The 93-year-old says he'll run in elections again next year, but has been championing his wife Grace as his eventual successor. A former secretary, 40 years Mugabe's junior, she's been living lavishly and building or buying a power base of her own.
I love my president. I respect my president. I will help him to make this country prosper.
Last week, Mugabe fired his wife's main rival, the Vice President Emerson Mnangagwa, a former intelligence chief who enjoys the support of the army. He has since fled the country, but yesterday the head of Zimbabwe's defense forces issued a warning aimed at those who would harm his supporters. In other words, Robert Mugabe.
We must remind those behind the current treacherous shenanigans that when it comes to matters of protecting our revolution, the military will not hesitate to step in. Amen.
Mugabe's supporters and the ZANU-PF party machinery have in turn accused him of treason, issuing a statement saying the army chief did not represent the rest of the command element. And so the table has been laid.
Now we have Margaret Evans joining us right now from London. And Margaret, I want to ask you, based on what we've seen unfold over the last couple of hours, how do you think this is likely to play out?
There's still a lot of uncertainty about that. People are going to be very fearful, obviously. I think one of the most significant developments seems to be, from the agency reports we're hearing, is the takeover of the state broadcaster, because that is, almost coup 101, if you like. Take control of the media and the message going out to the people. We are also hearing some reports of explosions, so people will be fearing violence. But it's still really a little too soon to tell. And talking to people earlier, they described it a little bit as potentially two sides sizing each other up, basically testing the waters to see whether they have the backing to bring this together. But you basically see right now a very strong challenge to Mugabe by the military. This is a really big open split for Zimbabwe, one that we haven't seen to this degree before now, really.
Right, and Margaret, you spent time in Zimbabwe earlier this year. I mean, if things continue to escalate the way they have been, where do you think the people will stand in all of this? I mean, give us the context there.
Well, as I said earlier, I think people are going to be worried about violence, and I think that will be the highest thing in their minds. If this really does seem like it might be a fight between the military and potentially the police who might be supporting Robert Mugabe. So that's going to be their biggest thing. On the other hand, people in that country are desperate for change. Many people support Mugabe because they see him as a liberation hero, but their dreams have been disappointed. It is a very poor country. They have huge problems with health care, and they will be worried that this coup is going to make their lives even more difficult because there'll be political uncertainty. Tourist dollars are going to drop. People are not going to be wanting to go to Victoria Falls, and those kinds of issues, the survival of their families in terms of the economy, will be really high.
All right, Margaret Evans watching the situation for us tonight from London. Thanks so much.